Hello my dear students, welcome to Teacher at Home. Today class we are going to learn the third chapter, Resistance and the First War of Independence. Thumb of the Nagodas. Nagodas were the sericulturists of Bengal. Weavers from various countries came to buy the silk they produced. When Bengal came under the rule of the English East India Company, officials began to exploit the Nagodas. They were compelled to do weaving for the meager wages. They were made bonded laborers of the company, denying opportunities to seek any other means of livelihood. They were forced to live like slaves under the company. The workers who were not willing to obey were tortured. The properties were seized. They collectively decided to give up the traditional occupation, for it did not help them earn a living. And they decided to cut off their thumbs as a protest against the policies of the East India Company. You have seen the protest of the Nagodas. They were not an isolated event. The company rule adversely affected all the workers engaged in traditional occupations. There were uprisings in different parts of the country against this, who were exploited under the company rule. Farmers, weavers, craftsmen, and tribals. Against the farmers. With the subjugation of Bengal, attention of the company shifted to the rich agricultural sector of the region. The aim was to exploit the maximum resources. What were the strategy they adopted? Levied heavy taxes on farmers. No tax concessions were sanctioned even when drought and flood destroyed agriculture. Middlemen, zamindars, were assigned to the duty of collecting tax. Imposed the condition that the tax was to be paid in the form of cash. Farmers had to depend on sahus, the private money lenders, for loans at a higher rate of interest. Company identified that the fertile fields of Bengal were much favorable for growing the commercial crops like cotton, jute, and indigo. These were the major raw materials for the industries in England. Consequently, they decided to expand its cultivation and force the farmers to do so. These fields that were used only for the cultivation of food crops changed into plantations of cotton, jute, and indigo. As a result, farmers became landless and were forced to become laborers. Conduct a similar on hardships faced by different categories of people in Bengal under the company rule. Against the tribals, the intrusion of the company was not limited to the agriculture sector. They framed several laws to exploit the forest resources. The laws gave the company absolute control over the forest. This disturbed the collection of forest products and adversely affected the tribals' traditional farming. The tribal habit was rich in mineral deposit, and to exploit this, the British constructed roads and railways to these regions. These measures intensified the miseries of the tribals. How did the forest law imposed by the company adversely affect the tribal life? Against the weavers. You now know that cotton cultivation became widespread in India during the company rule, don't you? However, the handloom industry in India declined. Let's examine the reasons. Large-scale export of cotton, raw material of handloom industry, to Britain. Large-scale import of cheaper textiles manufactured in the British factories. Excessive taxes were levied on clothes made in India. These factors rendered thousands of Indian weavers jobless. Prepared a skit on the common problems faced by the weavers against the background of the Nagoda's protest. Uprisings. I identified the major occupational groups who lost their livelihood as a result of company rule, haven't you? These people started rebellions against the company and zamindars, the middleman of the company. They were not well organized. The resistance against the company became common in different parts of the country. Peasant revolt started at the very beginning of the company rule. It is evident in the Sannyasi and Fakir rebellions that occurred in the end of the 18th century. In the 19th century, several rebellions broke out in Malabar. It was led by the Mappala tenants and is known as the Mappala Rebellion. Similar uprisings burst out in Bengal and were known as Farisi rebellions. Besides the peasants, the tribals also rose a revolt against the company. Major tribal groups organized rebellions are the Bhils in Maratha, the Kohlis in Ahmednagar, the Kols in Chota Nagpur, the Sandals in Rajmahal Hills, the Kurchas in Wayanad. Sandal Rebellion. Sandals were the inhabitants of the Rajmahal Hills in the Bengal province. The Sandal Rebellion was the result of exploitation they faced from the company officials and money lenders. Rajma Hills witnessed the sacrifice of more than 15,000 Sandals in this rebellion. It was under the leadership of Sidhu and Kanhu. The Sandal folk song. O Sidhu smeared in blood, O Kalhu screaming hal hal. These traitors, these robbers made us landless. We are smeared in blood from our beloved fox. The kings and chieftains who lost their power were another group that led rebellion. Some of them are Raja Shay Singh of Awadh, Veerapandya Kattabomman of Tirunelveli, Maruttupandiyan of Shivaganga, Parshiraj of Malabar, Kittur Chennamma of Karnataka, Veluthambi Talava of Travancore, Palyathachan of Kochi. Rebellions in Kerala. Parshi revolt was one of the major revolts of Kerala. British lifted Parshiraja's right to collect taxes from Kottayam in North Malabar. This was the immediate cause of Parshiraja's revolt. He led a guerrilla war against the British in the forest of Wayanad. Talakal Chandu, Kaiteri Ambu, Edachana Kunjan, and Adan Gurukal were the prominent leaders who fought with Parshiraja in the revolt. The revolt ended with the death of Parshiraja. The anti-British revolts of Travancore were led by Veluthambi Talava. The constant intervention of the company in the home affairs of Travancore hindered the smooth administration of Talava. This was the main reason for him to turn against the British. Palyathachan, the minister of Kochi, extended his assistance to Talava. In the famous Kundra proclamation of 1809, Talava called upon the people to fight against the British. However, he was defeated by the British. First War of Independence 1857. We have learned about the isolated resistance that occurred in different parts of the country. Army of East India Company suppressed them. By 1857, even people who were loyal to the company turned against them. Indian soldiers in the British Army and the kings who lost their hereditary rights as per the doctrine of lapse were the main leaders of the revolt. The living conditions of sepoys were miserable and they had to lead a hard life. The sepoys were disappointed with the following conditions: meager wages, prolonged working hours, denying leave, slave-like treatment by superior officials, poor quality food. In this contest, the company supplied a new type of Enfield rifle to the sepoys. There was a rumor that the cartridge to be used in this gun were greased with the fat of cows and pigs. Another rumor was that the bread supplied to the sepoys were made from wheat flour mixed with bone powder. This provoked them to rebel. Mangal Pandey was the first Indian soldier to protest. An organized revolt against the military officials started in Meerut. Then the soldiers reached Delhi and proclaimed the last Mughal ruler Bahadur Shah II as the Emperor of India. The revolt spread to different parts of North India. The rulers of princely state who had lost their power also joined the rebellion. Revolt further spread to Kanpur, Lucknow, Allahabad, Jhansi, Ara and Firozabad. The revolt was led by Nana Sahib and Tandia Top in Kanpur, Rana Lakshmi Bai in Jhansi, Begum Hasrat Mahal in Lucknow, Maulavi Ahmadullah in Firozabad, Kunwar Singh in Ara. The company suppressed the revolt and Bahadur Shah Zafar was expelled to Rangoon. The days of life passed with approaching dusk, and now I'll stretch my legs to sleep. The burial garden's comfort. How unfortunate is Zafar, for 6 feet of land couldn't be found for the burial in this soil. Let us examine the reason for the failure. Though the revolt was widespread in North India, there was no coordination. The company had the advantages of stronger military power, better weapons and coordination. It failed to ensure mass support. The English-educated Indians were against the revolt. The rulers of affluent princely states supported the company. Major centers of First World War of Independence 1857. List out the respective state to which the places belong. Even though the revolt failed, it was the first mass revolt against company rule. So the revolt is considered as the first war of Indian independence. Highlight of the revolt was the sense of unity that the people of India upheld irrespective of religion. It was this solidarity that motivated the sepoys to proclaim Bahadur Shah as Shahi Hindustan, the Emperor of India. That shows that the British efforts to breed communal hatred had not succeeded, at least up to the period of the First War of Indian Independence. Centers of revolt: Jhansi, Rani Lakshmi Bai. Reign of Queen. The First War of Indian Independence in 1857 brought many administrative changes in India. The rule of the English East India Company came to an end with the British Queen's Proclamation 1858. India came under the direct rule of British Queen. So that's all about this chapter. If you're interested, please do like, share, and subscribe my channel. Okay, thank you.